With Vince here, let it be known that all 5 members of Public Works are present. We will start the meeting. We're going to skip to number 28 immediately, and it's a discussion regarding John's recycling current contract. I'm going to turn it over to Dave, and why don't you come up
Thank
and
you.
sit with us and
Mr. Chair, I'd like to introduce Nate Austin of the
Grab the
John's
mic
Recycling Company. John's Recycling is the company that we have contracted with approximately a year and a half ago. They process our recycling throughout the city of West Allis. We signed a 5-year contract in August of 2017, and in doing so, you probably heard with the market, the way it's going with recycling of material. China, and more specifically, is not accepting, or there's no demand for the recycling material. So it's hard for a company like John's to dispose or get rid of this recycling material due to the market times, just not a demand. So in doing that, it's been communicated to us that we do have a contract. John's acknowledges that. We have a little bit over 3 years of that contract. But given the market times that we are experiencing, Austin has asked to just give our proposal, see if we want to renegotiate this contract, even though we do have 3 years remaining. If the committee wants us to pursue, listen to John's and pursue in the future and get back to the committee with John's recommended proposals. So with that, I guess if you have any questions.
is it Austin?
Nate.
Nate.
Excuse me,
Nate.
Nate
I'd
Austin.
like to hear from Nate and give you a chance to speak to us and see what you have to say.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you guys having us here. John's is local family-owned operated company. This year we've been in business for 50 years. John is my grandfather-in-law, so I married into the business. We have 2 locations. We own no landfills. So for 50 years, our company has been all in on recycling. You guys have been around for longer than I have, and in the last 30 years, it's really taken off. And I would say it really, 2017, when we were signing our deal with the city, it was about the best year our industry has ever experienced. A lot of positive market forces. You got Amazon making more boxes every year. Cardboard's extremely valuable. People are buying more, they're coming more into our homes and into your homes, and we're processing that. So we signed a deal with the city essentially that said we have a couple of numbers in our deal. One is the processing costs, and that's how much it takes us to go through the material, and then we ultimately have the value per ton. So in 2017, when we signed our deal, you're bringing us a little over 4,000 tons a year, and we're paying you based on our sales. When we signed our deal, we put in a 0 floor. That means that the city will never have to pay should markets go bad, because our long experience marketing recyclables has been, it's never been that bad. Market forces, sure, there's some dips, ups and downs, but never anything catastrophic or something that you can't wait through. We passed that about a year and a half ago. So on January, and I'm sure you read some of this in the news, you'll see articles that say China doesn't want our trash anymore. Those are a little bit misleading. So we, being in southeastern Wisconsin processing your recyclables, I can tell you that many of those were going to China. China paid the most money, and economically it made a lot of sense. They make cheap plastic crap, they put it in cardboard boxes, and they ship it over here, and we buy it, and we break it, and we recycle it, and we send it back. And those boats go back full, and it kind of went like that. China was getting too much garbage, and the recycling was ultimately their reason, and too much being 2% of outthrows. So we sorted on a line, and everyone else, Waste Management, Republic, all the big guys, we do it the same way. It's not a perfect system because you're doing tons per hour. We're getting pressure to keep our costs down, so you're taking a guy off the line or you're putting in more automated systems. It's just not perfect. Fast forward to today, the value per ton is it is gone, and it now costs about the same to throw away a ton of garbage in the landfill as it does to process your recyclables. So when we signed our deal, we're getting upwards of $100 a ton, and we have a revenue share with the city where we're paying you back. Today, you have a zero floor, and we're paying about $50 a ton for your material times 4,000 tons. So the easy math, we were talking about exposure right before the meeting. The exposure for the city is currently you're paying zero. You will pay zero unless the deal's amended. We're asking that you consider sharing a weight of that with us. And so we wrote a letter to the city where we said, this deal could put us out of business, and that wasn't to be obscene in any way. It's just the truth. We took the risk for all of our municipalities. So again, we do municipal solid waste and recycling collection. We use recycling, since we don't have landfills, to offset the cost to keep ourselves competitive. So we're going, this is not just you, and it's not just John's. Waste Management, Republic, people, we're going back to our communities, and we're just saying recycling as we know it has changed, and we need our communities to help support that in order to keep it going. Wisconsin's a little bit of a double-edged sword because Wisconsin has laws and ordinances in place saying you have to recycle, and for a long time that was a good thing, and now you have to recycle and it's not good. We believe markets will come back, but who knows when. And we're just kind of saying to you, we can't eat it anymore. We gave ourselves no outs in our contract, and I want to communicate this to you too. If you choose not to consider amending with us, we will honor our contract to the very end, but we will lose a lot of money if we're still here at the end of our contract. So that's why this is kind of our nuclear option to say, hey, we need to talk about it.
Mr. Chairman?
Alderman Nysen.
We certainly don't want to put you out of business. We need the competition in the area for recyclables. We went with you because we thought you were the best solution for us. And we have other alternatives, but they're not going to be recycling either. There's just no demand, as you say, for the recyclables now. And quite frankly, I'd like to see you be able to stay in business. I don't think our intention is at all to put you out of business. So I would strongly recommend that we request that staff renegotiate with them so that we can come up with something that is acceptable to all of us. Again, I don't want to put you out of business. I think that you've done a good job for us. You negotiated in good faith. You gave us a good faith contract, and unfortunately, unforeseen events took place that have changed the whole situation. I do want to, let staff know that when they renegotiate, that they also take into consideration the fact that things may again turn back, and then we would expect to reap those benefits back again, and that we request that Johns keeps us in mind when things do turn around, and remembers the fact that we, helped you people stay in business, and quite frankly, it's to our benefit for you to be in business, because we don't want to be sole sourced with the city of Milwaukee or Waste Management or somebody. We want to have competition there, and so nobody is paying for recyclables now. And even though we could make it pay, it just doesn't make sense for us.
Dave, I agree totally with Tom said. I think when we look into the negotiations and, we help on your side, I think when we look at the contract to the future at a time where things may turn around, that maybe for a period of time, we get a bigger kick to help offset those costs that, we're helping you out. So, I don't know what the percent is now, you get blank amount. But if it does turn around, that kick goes up for a period of time in this new contract, that would help us recoup our costs, while we're helping you out, I guess would, be the words. So that would be my suggestion, but I'm all open to looking at a new contract also.
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
Alderman
Yeah,
Vitale.
I agree with Alderman Lysak and Alderman Barzak just as well. Right now, we do deliver the recyclable at the site, right, the Muskego site, John's site. Is there any way, it could be accommodated that, I don't know what the cost really is at this point for us to deliver to your site? Would be any possibility maybe for you guys to have a big storage container for our city, just utilize the container, then you guys pick it up instead of the city travel back and forth to, I don't know how many trips we do per day, Dave, at the site of,
So you're looking at an independent location where we could haul it
yes.
within the
Transfer
city and, to transfer the recycling. That'd be
The
something
thing is,
that.
I'm not pushing, really to the
Yeah,
extent,
not a bad
but,
idea.
I think to minimize the cost both ways, for us and for you guys. And to me, I'm looking forward for the amendment, really. I think like Alderman Lysak said and Barzak, I think we'd like to work with you. But again, that's one idea that I'm trying to storm out there to, if it would be feasible, something that will benefit us and benefit you just as well. So,
One of the things, Dave, I agree with Alderman Vitale, if we had a transportation, be good, but I recall when we were looking into the contract originally, that it was almost a little bit of a positive for us to run these trucks open on the freeway for a period of time. So, maybe it could be a 50-50 split. We take blank amount of trucks so we can continue to do this, and we have a transfer station that,
And you're right, Mr. Chair, that the EGR, to clean the emissions, a little bit higher speed, longer on the streets where they could go. The transfer station is a great idea. We currently have contracted services with a competitor, but we could coincide and see if that contract, when it does expire, that we could, put that out for a bid and see if there's other
sure. good idea.
agencies that would
Yeah.
be interested in our refuse as well as our recycling. So
Sure.
that's a good point.
Very good.
Mr. Chairman,
Alderman Stefanski.
I'm in agreement as well. I don't want to see you guys go out of business. I'm all for small business. And I think renegotiating the contract, but if we renegotiate it, I'm going to suggest that we look at a scale type of renegotiation, so that if your time goes up, kind of like what you had said, if times go good again, you're having our portion, go down type of thing, which is making up for, what we're gonna help out with on this end for you. So, like I said, I'm all for small business, and so I don't wanna see you guys go out of business.
Mr. Chair,
Alderman Ranky.
basically, we can't predict the future. None of us can predict the future. We negotiated with you in good faith. You were a local company, and you've done a wonderful job for us. Do you anticipate this long range, this situation we're in, a long range?
I think that like I said, in the past, haulers and processors like us have said, the upside is so good, we're willing to take some of that risk for our communities. In addition to changing budget things mid-year for you is a nightmare, versus we can handle that or eat it for a time. Because it's been so bad for so long, us and others have started to say, we just need to cover our costs when times are bad and predict the worst. And so to your point of, let's find a way to get the city more, if they're willing to help, if it goes through and you're willing to help us, we just have no problem with that. So we're banking on that. You're able to handle a surplus in a better way than we are anyway. And we had mentioned that to Dave. In terms of what's next, there's maybe a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. So China no longer takes our materials in the baled form. You know, you put them in, we sort them and bale them, and we send them over. So immediately when they stopped taking baled materials in, China invested in paper mills in the United States. One of them right here in Wisconsin. They're not up to speed yet. So that's in Barron, Wisconsin. So we're seeing it'll take probably 3 years, I think, overall, maybe for everything to catch up and for the United States to ramp up production. I think it will get better, but we're just really hesitant to say it'll be this date. So and some of these mills are coming online July, August, September of this year. So we're encouraged, but I don't.
They've closed some in Wisconsin too, though, so.
Not paper mills.
Yeah, paper mills up in Green Bay. There was one that closed there, and there was another one that closed in Neenah.
And those ones have been bought and are now being renovated to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars in renovations. One of them by China and another by Green Bay Packaging and another by, so they are coming back online.
I think until the entire world situation changes and the trade barriers go away, the tariffs go away, Europe is suffering in their economy. They're lowering their interest rates. China is suffering in their economy. We're starting to see a slowdown in this country. And until there's a change and business starts to pick up globally again, you're not going to see a demand for recyclables until that happens. And that may be, as you say, 2 or 3 years down the road.
Right.
No one knows. If we knew, we'd make a lot of money in the stock market.
That's very true. That's very true.
Mr. Chair,
Alderman
yeah,
Vitale.
you know, like Alderman Lysak said that in Europe right now, really, they have tugboats, which they don't know where to take their recyclable. I mean, really, that's a big crisis we face, and not just USA, in the United States, across the pond. Major problem they have. They don't know where to take this stuff, because China, like I say, won't take it. See, and that's a crisis, really. So whatever we can do to work this amendment, I think would be graciously appreciated, you know.
Sounds like everybody's on the same page.
Yes.
Yes.
Pen it, work it out, talk it, and come back to us with something that you think is workable.
Good, okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Committee?
With that, on number 28, I believe we can just place this on file.
Yep.
So looking for a motion?
I make a motion that we put this on file.
Moved by Alderman Stefanski, a second
I'll say it.
by Alderman Vitale. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you for coming in and talking to us.
Thank you, John.
Good luck to you. We do have a joint, which I probably should have taken first. All I see is a question mark up there. What number is it? 7? Oh, it must be 7.
That's a 7, yeah.
Okay. It's a resolution authorizing the city engineer to amend an existing agreement with Baranotos Design and Consulting for an additional
Architectural.
I'm looking at that thinking architectural consulting services relating to city hall functions and public works function and a potential combined municipal campus, in the amount not to exceed $13,000, and authorizing and directing the appropriate city officials to execute a budget amendment transfer to the necessary funds for this work.
Move for approval.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Lysak and seconded by Alderman Ranky. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. John, do you want to run that up there? Would you be so kind? Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 19, resolution authorizing and directing the city engineer to require Union Pacific Railroad Company to repair 4 railroad crossings in the city of West Dallas by removing the failing
All right, Pete.
prefabricated contract crossing panels and replacement with new prefabricated crossing panels. Alderman Stefanski.
Yes, I make a motion.
Second.
I'll say it.
Moved by Stefanski, seconded by Alderman Lysak. Any further discussion? Vince, do you want to
Well, I mean, it seemed like maybe the
Enough said with the
Afghanistani or
pictures.
somebody threw a bomb there.
I think half of that crossing's on his district and half is on my district, right?
oh, no.
Half is on yours
But
and
that's why I
half.
don't drive on 68th Street anymore.
Oh.
Just 68th
There's a
Street
single
right there.
older person in
Electric
this
Avenue,
building
yeah, just as
that doesn't
bad.
agree with this particular
Yeah.
resolution.
How long are we gonna have to wait, though?
Well, if we wait 30 days, the clerk will send a certified copy to the railroad right away, and they're supposed to act, but they won't.
I
So
know.
then I will send it to the railroad commissioner, and he will conduct a hearing in a couple of months, and then he'll make a ruling, and he'll order them to do it. And they'll still probably ignore him, because that's what happened last time.
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
that
I
for
know.
sure.
You know, and then I'll have to harass them
Can we just
some
block
more.
trains from coming in until they fix it?
You know, eventually, they did come in and make very few
Yes.
repairs on Greenfield. I mean,
It's a long
they'll
time,
have
though.
to do something here. I mean,
Yeah,
I
they
can't.
just do a little
It's ridiculous, so
bit as
we'll try.
possible.
I will try.
All right, moved by Alderman Stefanski, seconded by Alderman Lysick. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Number 20, resolution acknowledging the common council support for the efficient financing management operation in the city sanitary sewer utility and authorizing the principal engineer to submit a complacent maintenance annual report, CMAR, to the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Ranky, seconded by Alderman Stefanski. Further discussion on that item?
This is a report that DNR requires every year to just make sure we have the finances and the personnel and equipment to maintain our sewers. We got an A in both categories. It's a lot of paperwork, but just to make sure that we're taking good care of our sanitary sewer, and we are, so that's all
It's
it is.
great to see that you got an aid, not a participation.
That's right. It's a real A.
Number 21 on tonight's agenda, resolution amending the existing professional services contract with, excuse me, did we vote on that?
No, we did not.
No.
I was just gonna ask that.
Thanks, just as I'm going in. All right, number 20 was moved by Alderman Ranky, seconded by Alderman Stefanski. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried. Now, number 21, resolution amending existing professional services for the contract ACOM Technical Services to provide consulting services relative to Wisconsin Administrative Code and our 216 stormwater permit compliance requirements for 2019 industrial sum not to exceed $9,100.
Move for approval.
Second.
Alderman Lysick, seconded by Alderman Vitale. Further discussion on number 21?
This is part of our stormwater permit. We have to find, the biggest one we found last year was the car wash on Highway 100, south of National. Is that Lorino's?
Yeah.
They were putting all that sudsy, dirty water into Hale Creek. It's supposed to be going, it was supposed to be going into the sanitary sewer. So we finally found that's an illicit discharge. That's the kind of stuff we're supposed to catch, so. And they have been doing it for decades, I think, so. So that's the kind of pollution that the DNR wants to, us to find and to clean up. And I don't know how, when it was built, somebody connected the pipe to the wrong sewer. So that was the biggest one I've ever heard of that we got. So they spent like $10,000 to reattach the pipes, and they weren't too happy about it. And that was right about the time we approved the quick trip. But anyway, that's what this is for, to other illicit discharge. I know Zignego, a couple of years ago, somebody tweeted that there's a green substance coming out of Zignego. We called the DNR, and then we called AECom, and they came out and tested it. It wasn't anything toxic. It was just like a real high pH
It's
or
Kool-Aid, it's a
something.
regular Kool-Aid maybe that goes
I don't-
down the source.
So I mean, that's what this is for. When we
I
see
know.
some pollution, we're supposed to go investigate and write a report and send it to the DNR. And so we're required to do this as part of our permit that they give us. So that's what that is.
With that, it was moved by Alderman Lysick and seconded by Alderman Vitale. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Number 22, resolution to approve the bid of UPI LLC for the installation of curb, gutter, sewer, concrete pavement, concrete sidewalk, driveway replacement, sanitary sewer relay, storm sewer relay water main relay building services utility adjustments in the South 80th Street from West Grant Street to West Lincoln Avenue, and 87th Street from West Harrison Avenue to the dead end in the city of West Allis in the amount of $753,307.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Ranky, seconded by Alderman Lysick. Further discussion on this item?
These were two budgeted streets that we were planning to do, and the bids were a little bit high, but we did have a lot of competition, so, I mean, we had like 5 bids, so can't argue that this is the price, the going price, so I would recommend we approve it.
Well, it was moved by Alderman Ranky, seconded by Alderman Lysick. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried. Number 23, resolution ratifying emergency purchase of Director of Public Works executed with the Betters Fetting Incorporated per the mayor's authorization on June 13, 2019 for an emergency repair to the chiller in the city of West Allis Police Department in the amount of $46,500. I think everybody read
Move approval.
the Alderman Vitale. I didn't hear the second. Alderman Lysick. Any further discussion on that item?
It looks like the contractor that was selected, so it'll start tomorrow. So based on the urgency and our experience with that contractor, so everything, hopefully, knock on wood, goes well and they
We'd
can
like a day to
replace.
think about this.
Mr. Chairman,
Alderman Stefanski.
what budget does this come out of?
So we had to transfer some amounts to cover this, unexpected, unscheduled. So it's our capital account that we have for Public Works and our building and sign facilities. So there's some cable locators that we're going to delay the purchasing of. There's a budget that's in there for the library windows as well for $5,000. So we're hoping, we did file an insurance claim. So
Okay.
we're hoping that we'll get most of the monies back, but
Okay.
can't say that for certain.
Thank you.
How old is the chiller?
It's the original one, so that was in 1994, 95. So there's 6 compressors. Our HVAC technician, Jeff Doobie, did a wonderful job on getting this rectified so quickly and getting an estimate, that sort of thing. But 3 of the compressors are damaged, and the other 3 obviously are running well. But with this temperature extremes, if it does get more humid, it's going to be a larger demand on those.
You mean there's no lifetime warranty on those compressors?
Apparently not, yeah. It was a squirrel.
The squirrels, yeah, that's right.
With that, it was moved by Alderman Vitale, seconded by Alderman Lysick. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Number 24, resolution to approve the bid of Northern Pipe Incorporated for closed-circuit TV inspection at the sanitary and storm sewer in various locations through the city of West Allis, amount of $90,376.
Move to approve.
Second.
Alderman Ranky, seconded by Alderman Vitale. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, carried. Number 25, resolution relative to accepting the proposal of Ewald Automotive Group for the furnishing and delivering of one 2019 Dodge Ram 2500 tradesman 4x2 pickup truck with a 8-foot box for $27,894. Additional accessories such as rust proofing for this vehicle and an additional cost of $600 from Z-Bart Automotive to the total sum of $28,494.
So move.
Alderman
Second.
Stefanski, seconded by Alderman Vitale. Just, Dave, it's budgeted, it's replacing.
Yeah. I mean, it just kind of refracts my brains. I bought it from Pat Long Chevrolet, used to be across from the State Fair, up the street here. I bought a Chevrolet Malibu, brand new. At the time it was $2,600. So,
It's only 10 times more.
so what really happened,
50 years later.
they charged me about $300 at that time for a Z-Bart, to undercoating, and everything else. Within 2 years, the doors, I had 2 doors, I mean, they all fall apart. There was no such thing as a undercoating. They just put a plugs in the doors and all over, I mean, no undercoating, it cost me $300. And the guy the salesman used to come by me,
So that means this
Like,
won't rust, right?
in the 70s,
That means this won't rust then, right?
The son of a gun.
I don't think I see that on the agenda.
No, it was not. I just kind of reflects my old
Talking
days.
about the
you know,
rust proofing, no?
They cheat me, you know.
Moved by Alderman Stefanski, seconded by Alderman Vitale. Any further discussion on item number 25?
Could never forget that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Number 26, resolution relative to accepting a proposal of City Electric Supply, Crescent Electric, and Nyhar Electric for furnishing and delivering fuses, fuse holders, connectors, wire, cable, and illuminators for the total sum of $63,576.80.
Move for approval.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Vitale, seconded by Alderman Ranky. Further discussion on 26?
Mr. Chairman,
Excuse me.
Alderman Stefanski.
I have a question. Are we going with all three of these companies to do this?
For the various parts, there's from Near, they had to get some parts from them,
Okay.
so there's other,
I have a concern with Crescent Electric. Crescent Electric is going through some very bad management issues right now, and I just want to make sure that we're looking into that before we start doing, or before we, continue moving forward with them or anything. They've been struggling with different locations, with delivery and with personnel and the whole bit, so I just wanted to bring that up.
okay. I'll make a note of that. And again, these are their suppliers for the parts. This is the F1 circuit that we're attempting to recircuit with the LED lighting, high voltage to low voltage wiring. So our electrical staff is performing that function at this time, so
Okay.
they need to order the parts, the luminaires.
Okay.
Any further discussion on 26?
Have we had any trouble in the past with any of these companies?
I'm not aware of any, no. Pete, if
I
you
can tell you, I dealt with Crescent Electric for years, and I never had any problems with them. They were a good supplier to oil gear,
I guess if they don't supply, then they don't get paid.
and they're located in West Dallas.
So, yeah, they're not doing any of the work, they're just providing
just the parts.
Right.
yeah.
And that's what they were having issues with. They were having issues with delivery and the amount of personnel that they had to do the deliveries, and
Okay,
so.
we'll note that.
Well
yeah.
noted, Dave.
We'll note that then.
Okay. Moved by Alderman Vitale, seconded by Alderman Ranky. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Last one on tonight's agenda, resolution relative to accepting a proposal of Nyhar Electric for furnishing and delivering 11 each Holferspear streetlight poles with LED light fixtures, side arms, and banner arms for the total sum of $44,770.
Move for approval.
Second.
Alderman Lysick, seconded by Alderman Stefanski. Any further discussion on 27? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. That is it for Public Works.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. With that, it is now time Lysick.
Safety and Development Committee meeting will now come to order.
Now we got John.
All members are present. First item on the agenda is item 29. This is an ordinance to establish traffic control, I assume a stop sign, on the eastbound and westbound traffic on West Washington at 85th Street.
Mr. Chairman, I actually had discussions, and what they do at State Fair time, it's a two-way. At State Fair, they make it a four-way. So I had a call from a constituent, and then you had a couple calls also from other constituents, and they said, why can't this be all the time? Because they said, not only do we have State Fair, but then we have the where they sell the bikes, and then on Wednesdays, they have the concerts, and they have the sports
Rummagerama
show,
and-
and they have the fishing show, and they have the, golf show, and he goes, it really would help us all the time, and the city engineer agreed. So I'm gonna move for approval on item
Second.
number
Moved
29.
by Barzak, seconded by Vitale. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Item 30 on the agenda is a resolution accepting a proposal of Gensler to enter into professional consulting service contract in the amount of up to $150,000 to prepare a Highway 100 corridor market analysis and master plan for the city of West Dallas.
Move to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Moved by Barzak, seconded by Reinke. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. 31 on your agenda, that's a resolution establishing review, approval, and authorization procedure for implementation of the West Allis Artscape program.
Move for approval.
It's been moved by Vitale, is there a second?
Second for
Seconded by Barzak.
John, you want to give us a little on that, please?
John.
Sometimes when we do a new market tax credit allocation, the owner will donate some money to a worthy cause. And sometimes they'll select the West Allis Improvement Foundation. And that's how we got the Artscape program funded, so there's no property taxes in it. There's probably over $100,000 in this today. And we've been holding it for the last couple of years, waiting to get our branding identified so that when we do something, it's consistent with the city's branding effort. Now, think we're there, and one of my staff put this together and designated the mayor and Rebecca and myself, or our designees, as a committee to select the art and approve the funding for it. Now, if you want to approve the art, you can certainly do that yourself as well, but this was just an option that was being presented. It could be to the beautification committee, it could be,
Could it be to putting a mural up on a side of a building?
yes, that's murals, wrapping electrical boxes around the city, any kind of art.
I think what John was saying is that if you don't want them, that committee to approve it, tell us where you want it to go, and I have no problem letting them approve it.
Okay.
I don't either.
But we can make suggestions to you on where to do it?
It would be more than a suggestion.
Okay.
Will they bring it before us?
No.
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 No, it's gonna be their decision.
Their decision,
Yeah.
totally.
Okay.
I mean, it's gonna be, somebody says, hey, I wanna paint the side of that building, with a picture of this, and they're gonna say yes, or they're gonna say, no, we'd rather have a picture of that. You know,
You know,
Gotcha.
So art is subjective.
One of the issues that we're gonna deal with first is this building here that's being renovated. Got a gorgeous renovation to it. And they wanna put a mural up, something to do with State Fair.
Okay.
We're suggesting, well, maybe we wanna do something different than State Fair. We wanna do something then, but if they wanna do State Fair on their own funding, knock themselves out, you certainly can, and we'll approve that. But if it's gonna be funded by the Improvement
It
Foundation.
should be city, yeah.
It should be something more about West
Right.
Dallas that
Right.
we kind of want.
But we will have no say in it.
Pardon?
We won't have any say in it. If we-
Correct.
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 You're saying
There's going to be a committee that
You will
makes the
designate the mayor.
decision.
the mayor, Rebecca, and John, or their designee.
Mr. Chairman, if we have a suggestion now, do we share it now, or do we bring it to you guys as a committee?
Anytime you can send to any committee member,
I have a suggestion on a building that we should look into that would be key, and that would be where Suzette has her hair.
I saw her on Facebook, so she's had that up there.
Put something that is affiliated with how West Dallas, through the time, has,
Historic.
yeah, historic part of it. That would be a suggestion.
we will look into that.
Okay, thank you.
Usually, it'd be somebody that comes to us and makes us a proposal, but we can't certainly go out there and say, hey, why don't you think about
She's
this?
posted on Facebook
Yeah.
that she'd like that to happen.
Well, then we'll talk to her about that.
Yeah, definitely.
She doesn't own the building.
But the owner's all for it, too. He's all for it, too.
It's gotta be, everybody have to sign off
Yes.
on it.
Yeah, the owner's all for it.
Good, excellent.
Okay?
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. This one. And then the final one is item 33, and our person Haas wants to be down here to discuss that. So we will wait for
License and Health and Administration Finance to be done.
council to, finish up and come down here to join us.
Move to go into recess.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Shut off microphones.
Mosley?
Pardon me?